Welcome back to Getting Started Recording with Reaper. In this video, we're going to pick up right where we left off. Previously, we got our verse chords written and got those recorded. In this video, we're going to start into the chorus, get that recorded, and then begin writing the melody. In this video, you're going to learn ideas for writing a chorus, ideas for writing a melody, how to use delay on an effect send, and how to use separate tracks as takes. So let's get started. So the verse that we previously wrote was in A minor. The whole song's in A minor, but we started off the verse in A minor as well. And now we're moving into the chorus. And we have a couple of options here. One of those is we could go to C major, which is the relative major of A minor. But as I mentioned in a previous video, I really wanted sort of a darker vibe for the entire song. So it makes sense then to kind of keep these chords in minor. And what I did was I chose D minor as the first chord in the chorus. Then I decided to take it to A minor, and let's hear those two chords together. Okay, now we need to add a third chord, and we have a number of options. We could go to G or something like that, another chord that's in A minor. But I really like that B flat major that we used in the verse, and so I really wanted to reuse that here. It sounds really good moving from that A minor. Let's give it a listen. And then we need a fourth chord. We're about the whole way through our chorus at this point. And so what I did was I brought it back to G just like we did in the verse. So let's give that all a listen. Great. I think we have a good working chorus now. So let's go ahead and get that recorded. The first thing I'm going to do is set up a second track so that my take for the chorus doesn't overlap with my verse take. Also, as always, I'm going to make sure that snap is enabled, and I'm going to set my cursor for a 2-bar count in. Let's get recording. Great, so let's get started writing the melody. I really wanted to keep this a simple melody, as I mentioned in a previous video. I didn't want a whole lot going on. I really wanted it to kind of follow with the chords that already have a strong harmonic direction to them. So I had a couple of options here. One of the things that really stood out to me when I was writing the verse is that very first A minor, the E note on that really stood out to me. It's the fifth on that chord. And so that's where I decided to start this melody. Let's give that a listen. Now, in the next couple of chords, we got a D minor and a B flat. And one of the nice things about these two chords is that even though they're not in both in A minor, they do share some notes, namely the D and the F. And so I'm going to play with these as I'm writing the next notes in the melody. Let's give that a listen. Now we've got a couple chords left here in the verse. We got the G, and then we got that E flat, or E7 flat 9 rather. And what I decided to do here was just walk the melody down till it eventually got back to that A minor, and I started on an E note. So let's give that a listen. I think we got a good starting melody here, so let's go ahead and get this recorded. As we record it, just a note, I'm going to play around with it a little bit, add some expressiveness to it that I can ultimately build upon when I get to the actual production tracks. So in addition to the reverb send, I'm also going to set up a delay send. And on the delay track, I'm going to add redelay or REA delay, which is Reaper's native delay plugin. I'm going to set the wet to 100% and the dry to 0. And when recording, it's best to use delays that are synced to your project's tempo. So for now, I'm going to set this to 4. And for the feedback, which controls the number of repeats, I'm going to set this to -18. It's a good overall starting point, and we can adjust once we get the production tracks. Next, I'm going to add a lead guitar track and set its send to -14. And I may also here set a little bit of reverb too. Now that we're set up, let's get this verse recorded. So let's go ahead and jump into our chorus melody. We're going to take a similar approach that we did with the verse. First chord here is D minor, and so I'm thinking about what are the chord tones that I could use to start with. And I'm going to go with F, which is the third of D minor. And anytime you're trying to think about like what chord tone to go with, that third is always a really strong note to pick. From here, I'm looking at the other three chords that are coming, thinking about their chord tones as well and how I can navigate to that. And here's what I ultimately ended up with. Let's review what we've learned. We began by adding the chorus chords, and we recorded these on a separate track so they didn't overlap with the take that we did for the verse. We then wrote a melody by focusing on the chord tones, and we set up a delay effect send on a separate track for the lead guitar.